Good morning. This is Send 7 World News in 7 minutes. I'm Stephen Devincenzi. Today is Friday, the 10th of May, 2024. Starting in the Americas today, in Brazil, at least 107 people have died in floods in the southern state of Rio Grande do Sul, and many more are missing. Over 160,000 people have been forced to leave their homes, with many buildings completely underwater, including in the capital Porto Alegre. The Army and Navy are helping local rescue efforts. 4 out of 6 water treatment plants in the state are not functioning. The World Meteorological Organization released a study this week which said that hunger and disease are rising in Latin America because of floods and drought caused by climate change. In the United States House of Representatives, an attempt to remove Republican Speaker Mike Johnson was easily defeated. Far-right Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene said that she would try to remove Johnson, mostly because he allowed a bill to support Ukraine to be voted on 2 weeks ago. However, only 10 other Republicans and 32 Democrats voted with her, against 359 members voting to keep Johnson. This was the first time in history that the minority party, in this case the Democrats, voted to help maintain a Speaker of the other party. Johnson said that it was time to go beyond personality politics.
Hopefully this is the end of the personality politics and the frivolous character assassination that has defined the 118th Congress. It's regrettable. It's not who we are as Americans, and we're better than this. We need to get beyond it.
Asia. Israel has moved more tanks towards residential areas of Rafah city in Gaza, although they haven't entered the main part of the city yet. The United Nations said yesterday that 100,000 Palestinians have already left Rafah in the last few days. Most of the people in Rafah were already displaced from other parts of Gaza. There were also reports of fighting between Hamas and the Israeli army around Rafah city and Gaza city yesterday. The United States has said that it has limited the weapons that it will give to Israel to stop supporting the offensive into Rafah. Speaking to CNN, President Joe Biden said that the US has stopped supplying Israel with some types of bomb that could be used in Rafah, and that he has told Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who he calls Bibi, that the US will not support military action in Rafah.
I've made it clear to Bibi and the War Cabinet they're not going to get our support if in fact they go in these population centers.
Speaking outside a court in New York, former President Donald Trump spoke about Biden's decision to limit some weapons to Israel and said that Jewish people who voted for Biden should be ashamed of themselves.
What Biden is doing with respect to Israel is disgraceful. If any Jewish person voted for Joe Biden, they should be ashamed of themselves. He's totally abandoned Israel, and nobody can believe it.
Japan has announced that large fin whales will be able to be hunted after a change in whaling law. At the moment, only 3 types of whale are allowed to be hunted for food, and animal rights groups want a total ban on the whale meat industry. Cabinet Secretary Yoshimasa Hayashi said that whales are an important food resource and is important to the traditional food culture of Japan, and said that whaling is practiced sustainably based on scientific evidence. Africa. In Sudan, the human rights agency Human Rights Watch has said that the city of El Fasher is at risk of a civilian catastrophe as the Rapid Support Forces paramilitary group continue to block all entry to the city. El Fasher is the last city in Darfur which is controlled by the Sudanese army and not the RSF. Human Rights Watch says that the Rapid Support Forces have committed massacres of civilians in Darfur over the last year and have called on the United Nations and the African Union for a total arms embargo on Sudan and an international mission to protect civilians in Darfur. In Senegal, a Boeing 737 passenger plane crashed during takeoff yesterday at Dakar International Airport. 10 passengers were injured. Boeing has suffered reputation damage after a series of accidents involving Boeing planes around the world recently. Europe. In North Macedonia, Gordana Siljanovska-Davkova has won the presidential election, beating current President Stevo Pindarovski. She will take office on Sunday and will become North Macedonia's first female president. In parliamentary elections, a conservative coalition won the most seats in parliament, beating the socialist coalition, which forms the current government. Ukraine's energy infrastructure has been seriously damaged by Russian missiles and drones over the last few days, according to the Energy Ministry. A statement released yesterday said that Ukraine has arranged to double its electricity imports from Poland, Romania, and Slovakia. 2 civilians were killed yesterday in the city of Nikopol in Dnipropetrovsk region by Russian artillery fire across the Dnipro River. Ukraine hit another oil refinery in Russia yesterday with a drone strike over 1,500 kilometers from Ukrainian-held territory in Bashkiria province. Ukraine also hit oil storage in Russia's Krasnodar region. And in Sweden, the final of the Eurovision Song Contest will take place tomorrow in the city of Malmö. 26 countries are competing after semi-finals took place earlier this week. There has been an increase of security in Malmö because of pro-Palestine protesters who disagree with the participation of Israel in the competition. The favourites to win Eurovision 2024 are Croatia or Switzerland. That's your world news for this week. A big thank you to Fedor in Slovakia for becoming our newest supporter. If you would like to help to support us and to have access to the transcripts of every episode and our weekly news quiz, then you can become a supporter at send7.org. Have a great weekend and we will see you on Monday.